Ubisoft have responded to the outrage about their scandalous over-monetization of Ghost Recon Breakpoint with lies! Filthy, dirty lies!
That's a filthy lie!
And apparently Ubisoft are expecting that the upset community and gamers in general are dumb enough to eat it all up. Apparently they weren't supposed to let you skip the game. That was a mistake, at least to begin with. And it seems that people who bought Ghost Recon Breakpoint will have no choice to skip the game anymore. They're being forced to play it. What a time to be alive in gaming. Here to discuss it with me is Mr. Henry Cooper.
There's one thing I hate. It's being forced to play the game instead of paying to skip everything.
God damn it, Ubisoft.
What are you like?
How dare you?
How dare you?
Okay, so they've responded to the outrage. What have they said, Henry? Let's get stuck in.
So it's only a few paragraphs. It's not too long as these responses often are. But the first one is headed, Overall Philosophy. So look at us. We're being intelligent and here's our mission statement. With Ghost Recon Breakpoint, we always aimed at offering a fair and rewarding experience to our players however they want to experience our game. In solo, co-op, PvE or PvP. From the beginning, two key factors stood out as extremely important for the team. That Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint doesn't include any pay-to-win elements.
Excuse me, well, fuck it. Wow. Woo, what a claim. Sorry, something got caught in my throat then. Fuck me, that is a bold, brazen lie. But carry on, Henry. Sorry
Yep,
about
we're just
that.
going to let that hang for just for now. We'll come back. To make sure that players not choosing to engage with in-game purchases do not see their experience affected. Players will be able to unlock skills and get access to plenty of varied loot and items by simply playing the game. So our mission statement says we're not going to include any pay-to-win elements.
What's with the pay-to-win elements
Only
then?
we did, yeah. My bullshit detector's going right off here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit.
I mean, they obviously have a different definition of what pay-to-win means, and we'll get into that. I've broken it down for you in just a while, guys. Don't worry, we'll get into what pay-to-win actually means in just a short while, and we'll call them out on their absolute bullshit.
Then there's the next section of the response, which is labeled time savers, and we talked about this at considerable length in our previous video about the audacity to even include something like a time saver. We are aware that during the early access of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint on October the 1st, some time savers items, skill point bundles, XP boosters, parts bundles for advanced weapon upgrades, were available for purchase for a few hours in our store, but this was not our intention and was an error on our behalf. Now there's a lot to break apart here, so I'm going to go chronologically. First of all, during our early access of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint, it's not early access, that's when the game is released. Alright, I'm sick of this early access bollocks that happens in so many of these games. Pre-order and you get it 2 days early, when we haven't got any launch updates because the game hasn't launched, but people are still playing the shit quality product. So that's only a minor one in this video. We're going to go onto the monetization specifically here, and the fact that this was not our intention and was an error on our behalf. So we didn't mean to put in this thing, which we literally built and added mechanics and systems for. We didn't mean to put it in.
It's a huge part. It's a huge mistake to make. The amount of work that's gone into that big mistake that they've put in the game.
Like
wow.
a little mistake is putting your socks on inside out.
Yeah.
Right. This isn't a little mistake. This isn't something you just that absent-mindedly happened.
This is a bullshit excuse is what this is. They've got caught with their hands in the cookie jar and they're like, oh, sorry guys, you don't like what we've done. Oh yeah, it was a mistake. My 6-year-old daughter uses
exactly.
that.
It's so childish.
It was a mistake. I didn't mean to eat all the biscuits.
I slipped and fell and landed in the sweet tin. And thing is, if this is true, and I'm going to say that it isn't, in my opinion, my professional opinion, that this is not true. If it is true, it's still bullshit because it means that they would have put it in post-launch. So there would have been post-launch pay-to-win, grind, skip, skill upgrade things.
Yeah.
That weren't there when the game launched, weren't there when the reviews came out, but no, they made a mistake and it was there too early. And then the response carries on for a little bit. These items were designed as optional ways for players arriving late to the game, post-launch, to catch up with those who have been playing for longer and enjoy our co-op and challenging endgame experiences. These time savers have since been removed from our store for now. So if it's optional, why are you charging for them? If you want an extra easy mode after the fact, which we'll gain you XP and stuff faster. That's totally understandable in my eyes. Like 6 months down the line, there's a lot of pro players, a lot of vets. So yeah, add in an easy mode for free. No problem with that whatsoever.
If you're not a bunch of greedy, money-grabbing bastards, then why are you charging people for them? There's no defense to that. There's literally no defense to what I just said. Just make them free.
But we've removed them for now, so they will be coming back because we want people to be able to pay to get as good as everybody else by getting extra items. And then it carries on. Time savers were not designed to grant any advantage over players choosing not to use them. Additionally, Ghost War PvP has been carefully balanced to ensure that no matter your experience as a player, no one has a critical advantage based on their progression.
And this is really important you read exactly how they've termed this, right? Critical advantage is the term that they use. They don't use any advantage because having a more progressed character actually is an advantage.
Yes.
It's just not critical advantage. And now this is where I jump in with my what exactly is pay to win, or pay to win elements as they call them. They said in their post there's no pay to win elements. Make sure there's no pay to win elements, right? What is pay to win? So the first definition is pay to beat an opponent. Therefore, paying for stuff that will directly help kill your opponents who don't have the same gear. So it's literally paying to win, or paying for critical advantage as Ubisoft have termed it. For example, buying better spec guns or abilities, HP or powers, something like that. So that is literal pay to win, right?
And that's over other human players in a PvP arena, right?
Exactly. So the second definition could be pay to gain any sort of advantage over other players in a PvP arena. As in paying for stuff that will not directly kill your opponents, but will increase your chances of winning in the long run. But some people don't actually consider this as being pay to win because it's only paying for advantage, you're not actually killing your opponents with it. So, for example, the kind of stuff that this includes would be increased storage capacity for your character, better camouflage, which incidentally enough would mean it's just a cosmetic item. This cosmetic item will be gameplay altering if it's a better camouflage and it helps you stay hidden for longer. Faster XP gain falls into this, increased loot drop rate, higher capacity weapon magazines, etc. For my money, time savers almost definitely fall into this definition if you ask me. So that's the second definition of pay to win. And the last one is pay to progress in single player. Now, some people call this pay to win too. This is paying for your skills or attributes to be improved, but it doesn't affect other people in any other way. This is like this paying to improve your character. So you do pay to win the game, but you don't pay to win versus any other people, most notably. And instantly enough, most people don't actually care and are not upset about this because it doesn't affect them if other people are getting the credit cards out to improve the character. In my opinion, it still sucks and you're still paying to win the game, although you're not paying to win versus other people. So there's three definitions for you there. Which one do you think is pay to win? Obviously, Ubisoft thinks that the first definition covered, the critical advantage is the most important. Let us know what you think down in the comments.
And then their response continues a bit more with the category of live game updates. And this is pretty much just the fluffy stuff where it's like, thank you for all your input and whatnot, but I'll quickly read it for you anyway. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint is a live game and will grow over time as we listen to players' feedback. We will continue to evaluate the game's performance and provide updates on all aspects of our game, including balancing, RPG elements, dev Q&As, etc. on a regular basis that can be found here, and they provide a link. We hope this clarifies any confusion caused, and we thank you for taking the time to read this update. Please continue to share your feedback with us. We highly appreciate the time you take to share your experiences with our game. Our team will be monitoring the game's economy and balancing it carefully. From all our studio, we wish you a great time in Aurora. See you there, Ghosts, the Ghost Recon Breakpoint team.
I hope this clarifies any confusion. Like, we're confused. No.
No.
You're the ones confused. You're the ones lying about implementing something in your game and then backtracking because everyone got pissed off. Bottom line to this is that the backlash was caused when everyone realized about the over-monetization of this game. It almost definitely hurt them, and they decided to take this action as in remove them for now. And the way I say it definitely hurt them, what they've probably seen is a host of pre-orders cancelled. They've probably seen order numbers drop significantly since this all broke open, and that's why they're making this response, and they're framing it in a way it's like, oh, it was just a mistake, guys, don't worry, can you pre-order the game again, can you buy the game again, please, because we've lost loads of money. And the reason they're doing this is that, as some people say, they're trying to outdate the Outrage. The reason that they release an update is to scale it back just a little bit, so that the narrative of the story is changed that little bit, so that some people can come in and use their excuse as justification and say that they're actually listening and that they're being fair and this kind of shit. This is a known strategy for outdating the Outrage. It's not the first time anyone's done this, and it definitely won't be the last.
And the game is available to everyone now, not just the pre-orderers who got it at the early launch, or whatever you want to call it. It's because it came out, I believe, today on October the 4th, so anyone can play it. So this is why they're releasing it now. It's not about the people who actually pre-ordered it. Now that the general public or the peasants can access it, they're going to try and cover it all up and play the hero.
One of the best responses that I've seen on the news coverage was a comment in the PC Gamer article comment section, and that was Edifice, who comments, "There is no reality where this was an accident. This was a heel turn based on the backlash and the most disingenuous PR explanation imaginable. They, like many other companies, keep pushing the boundaries of monetization inch by inch. The second they meet resistance, they scoot back and wait until people are used to the way that things are, and then keep pushing our limits. This is Ubisoft seeing how much they can get away with. They are lying straight to our freaking faces," and I don't think that anything else sums up my feelings on the situation more than that comment, which is why I've read it out. It's absolutely nailed on. There's no way that this was a mistake. Absolutely no way.
At all.
There's no way. And it is pay to win. Again, they're disputing what pay to win means. Pay for any sort of advantage is pay to win in my book. Doesn't matter if it's single player or multiplayer. It definitely is pay to win. And the fact that they're planning on bringing it back is bullshit. They say their philosophy is their overall philosophy, because they've thought about it deeply, because they're clever people. It's also bullshit. It's just facade is what it is. They say their overall philosophy is to have no pay to win. So why have it there? Why have it there? Have it available for free for everybody, and then it's not pay to win, because it's everyone's choice whether to speed up progress or whatever bullshit you want to do with your mechanics.
So we made this error, but we're going to do it again later. We're going to make the same quote-unquote error, and then when people get upset about it then, which fewer people will probably, because the game is going to be on the tail end, fewer people are going to be playing it, then hopefully people won't care.
All they're doing here is learning to do an Activision, which is wait until after launch to pump it full of bullshit like they do with the cards and everything else, until all the release hype has died down, so that they can get away with it without featuring the reviews or anyone else, everyone else being upset about it. But that's all they're doing here. They said themselves they're bringing this back. Everything we're upset about now, they say themselves they are bringing it back. This doesn't fix anything, because the problem will come back. They said that.
I'll be back.
Get the fuck out of here.
Anytime I see this, my conspiracy brain kicks in, and I just think, oh, they're doing it to play the hero. It's like, I don't know what it's officially called, but I call it firefighter syndrome, which is like when firefighters set up fires in empty buildings so no one gets hurt, but then they can go in and save the day and put out the fire and then be the hero. This is what I think all the time. They'll do a really bad thing and then say they're taking it away and be like, oh, look, we're listening to our fans. It happens all the time.
Yeah, if this was the first time that a developer had done this, then we might be a little more forgiving.
Yeah.
But this is not the first time, and I guaranteed it will not be the last. And some people in our comment section on the previous video we did this week about the over monetization in the first place, some people were saying that it's useless to complain because no amount of videos or coverage will even get them to change their minds. Well, guess what? They did change their minds, so eat shit, dickheads.
Eat shit, motherfucker!
And there are a couple people who are saying, stop talking about it, like you're giving them free promotion, it's just an ad for them. And I totally understand that, because when people talk about a lot of controversy all the time, all it does is make the controversy bigger, and oftentimes people just make money off it. Think about the whole James Charles situation. People made real money during that whole faux drama. But it is important that people with a platform like us on YouTube and other channels talk about this stuff, because we have a big enough user base collectively to make these people listen. listen.
To signal boost the message, that's for sure. And for people might read the headlines thinking, oh, Ubisoft, they changed it, they're all right. And they use that as justification. But the point is, they've only changed it for the time being in order to keep people happy so that they buy the game, and they're bringing it all back later. They said that themselves. I've said that 3 or 4 times, though, I know for sure. But it is important to push that home. Anyone who says Ubisoft have changed it, they've fixed it now, is not paying attention. They're lying, right? They're using Ubisoft's own justifications. They're being a puppet for Ubisoft, essentially, spouting their bullshit to try and get you to play the game. All it is a way to try and get you to buy the game again. It's all lies because they're bringing everything back.
And even in our previous video on it, people were still trying to defend the game and this bullshit. So there was a guy called Madlib, and he got 2 likes on his comments, so people obviously seem to agree. And he said, YouTuber yet again spreading misinformation without either playing the game or checking their facts. P.S. 95% of items in the in-game store can be earned in-game, which is redundant, because if 95% of items can be earnable, 5% aren't, which means it's 5% content still locked off. Your argument is redundant. It's invalid at that point.
95% might as well be 0%. Because there are still items that cannot be earned in-game.
And he hasn't addressed any of the pay-to-win concerns, which other people were saying, oh no, certain stats don't come over. But then he did in a reply, where he says, among other things, please read the Q&A they released. It highlights that in PvP, most skills are obsolete and extra damage upgrades are removed. Most skills. So a lot of that stuff will fall into that middle category we described, with little like camouflage or little extra XP stuff. Most. It's not literally going to up your damage of your weapon necessarily, but it's still a pay to win element in my eyes, and I think a lot of people's eyes.
I think what is important to take away from the people who are still angry about this is do not be toxic to Ubisoft employees and people on Twitter and things like that, because the moment that you do that right now, because obviously the feeling's very angry right now that they're doing this, that they're lying and trying to cover it all up. The moment that you do that, you change the narrative from the game being shit to the gamers are being toxic. So try to rein in your anger just a little bit, just enough so you don't get personal on Twitter and stuff like that. Yeah, Ubisoft are a shitty company and they've done a lot of shit things here, but don't be attacking people personally. That's just my final closing thoughts on this, because we don't want them to be able to change the narrative on this bullshit that they've done, being able to point the finger at us and call us toxic gamers, because that's how they get away with it.
But anyway, that's just what we think. Will you still be picking up this game? And bear in mind, it is always online. There's microtransactions in a premium game, which are pay to win. It had a bunch of pre-order bonus bullshit, early access bullshit, and a season pass. So it's pretty much everything wrong with modern video games, except loot boxes. But as we said yesterday, give them time. But anyway, let us know down in the comments what you think about all this. Make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button and the bell button. Go on over to patreon.com/prettygoodgame to support the content we create and keep our voices loud amongst all of this corporate bullshit. I've been Henry, he's been Gaz. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.